Hi, it's Pamela Huntington. Thank you for joining me today. This is a little tutorial on how to add a bezel to a piece of fabric, and I'm going to show you on a little quilt that I've been working on for quite a while. It's a little shabby quilt. I haven't actually even named it yet, but here it is, and I need to put something kind of at the bottom of this. There's a part at the bottom that needs something. I didn't know what to fill it in with, so it occurred to me that one of these bezels would be perfect. So I chose the bezel called the white bronze bezel, and I like that because it has two little pieces of a nice plastic. It actually looks like glass, in which I can sandwich my little piece of fabric that I want to use and the word sweetheart. For me, the sweetheart happens to be a little finding, but you could use a button in there, you could use some paper words, just something to add a little interest to whatever fabric thing you're working on. So the first thing you have to do is very carefully splay back the little prongs on the edges of the bezel so that you can fit the glass and your fabric and your little finding or buttons or whatever into it. So splay those back very carefully. I used a pair of little pliers here and just very carefully peel those back from the edge so that I could put everything in. Then I began to stack my pieces. I put the fabric first, and then I put my little finding. Then I put the glass on top. Now, when you're doing this, some people want theirs to be really neat and clean edged, and that's fine. Then cut your piece of fabric so that it fits in there perfectly. I wanted mine a little rough because this is kind of a little shabby quilt. It's only about 12 by 12, and I like that it has that shabby, not neat feel to it, so I wanted my bezel to look the same. So I left the fabric hanging over the edges, but certainly you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So very carefully then, take those little prongs and fold them back over. I do one side at a time. It's a little bit to hold on to, but for me I like doing one side at a time. But you could take your pliers and do two sides at a time and get those little prongs back over each of the pieces of plastic and your images inside. Now the nice thing about this bezel, and one of the reasons I chose it for this project, is it has little attachment holes on each side. Sometimes when you're finished with the bezel that you want to attach, you have to drill through it, but in this case we don't have to. We can merely find a nice strong needle and thread and sew through those little rings on either end so it's nicely secured and attached to your little quilt. And there it is. It's all finished. There it is hanging up as a whole piece, and here's a little close-up of how the bezel came out in the end. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy doing this, and do try attaching your bezels to your fabric pieces. It's really nice. It adds a little bit of depth and interest, and I think you'll enjoy doing it. Thanks a lot. Bye.